heard the phrase "a dollar saved is worth more than a dollar earned"? This is a common phrase when it comes to saving, and if you've never heard of it, it simply means the dollar you earn usually would come with some associated cost, plus you have to pay taxes on top of that, which further reduces the amount. Whereas a dollar you saved is worth a lot more, especially if you put it to good use by either investing it or leaving it in a high interest savings account. You end up doubling the amount of the dollar you could have earned. So today I'll share with you 7 realistic ways to save a couple of hundreds to thousands of dollars every single month. These are ways that have worked for me and a few others, and I'll be sharing them with you today alongside my savings tracker that would help you reach your savings goal, just as a thank you for supporting this channel. The first way is to sell unused items. If you declutter your home, you would find some of these electronics, some furniture, some items that you have in your home that you've not used for several months, several years, several weeks. Even in your garage, just go through it, you'll find things that you've not used for a long time. Now it's time for you to put them on Facebook Marketplace, on Kijiji, on Craigslist, anywhere that you can sell these items to make extra dollar. I know a few people that sell some of their old clothing on Poshmark and has made good money from doing that. I have also just recently sold my old couch and a microphone that I no longer use on Facebook Marketplace and made money from doing that. So this is your sign to sell off those items that has been collecting dust in your house that you've not used in a long time. The second way is to negotiate your bill. I was talking about this to my Smart Money Accountability group just yesterday, where we discussed how much people pay on a monthly basis for their phone bills and internet. And I mentioned that I paid $35 for my phone plan and $35 for my internet. Just to put more context to it, my phone is fully paid off, and some people were surprised as to how I was able to get that deal. How did I do it? It's just by negotiating. You just have to call your provider to ask them for discount, or you can also shop around. Now let me ask you, when was the last time you actually tried to switch your mobile phone provider? Or when was the last time you tried to shop around for insurance? A lot of times we just get this thing and just stick with it for as long as possible. But if you try to even reach out to them to ask for a discount, or try to negotiate for lower, or even compare with other vendors out there, you might find that you'll be able to save a lot of money by doing that. Just last year, I was able to save over $200 by moving to a different mobile phone provider. And guess what? My phone provider actually called me back, gave me some more credit, and compensated me for even allowing me to leave in the first place. So this is something you want to consider if you haven't. Next is to cut back on subscriptions. Some of us just keep paying for Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Disney Plus, Plex, all of these things without actually watching them. It's time to cut back on all those subscriptions that you are actually not using. Or if at all you want to use them, or you don't use them as often as you should, maybe you should split with your friends. So reach out to any of your friends or family members that also use the same kind of account, like maybe Spotify, maybe Netflix. You can have the same account, share passwords, and split the bill. That way you're not overpaying for something that you're not using as consistently. At least that's what I do with my Netflix. I split that with my siblings. They don't pay, but I know that they don't also have to spend additional cost on having a Netflix account. Same thing with my Spotify and other accounts like that. So if there are other subscriptions that you're currently paying for and you don't really use them as you should, maybe it's time to cancel them. Next is to bring your own meal. I know sometimes people might feel like, why? Let me tell you, I see a lot of people, especially when I was in workforce, they buy lunch every single day, which there's no problem. But don't you think you're going to be overspending on eating out if you have to do that? Just imagine Monday to Friday, you have to spend $20 on lunch at work. That is already $100. Then Saturday, Sunday, sometimes you go out with your friends, you go out with your family, and you also end up spending another $100 to $200. It adds up. At the end of the month, you would have spent over $500 eating out when you can just go out with your own food. Personally, I don't like eating out as much. So if I'm even going out maybe just to see a friend, just to hang out for an activity, just because sometimes immediately you step out of your house, that is when you start to feel hungry. I don't know, there's just this thing about the human body that does that. So what I like to do is I make sure to eat at home before going out for such things, or I just bring my own snack along. Nobody will stop you from bringing your snack. And having your own meals is also much healthier than eating out. So 10 over 10 recommend. You're saving money, you're saving time, and you're at the same time eating healthy. Like, it's a no-brainer at this point in time. Another tip that ties to this is to also make your coffee at home. I'm not putting this separately because I don't drink coffee, so I particularly can't relate to this, but I do know that if you make your coffee at home, you tend to save more money by doing that. The next point is to return unused item. I feel like a lot of girls will be guilty about doing this, and yes, I'm calling you out. You bought that clothes, that dress, that outfit, that shoe like last 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. You haven't even opened it from the bag. You haven't even taken it out. You haven't even tried it on. Maybe it's time for you to return it, because you just keep on stacking up all these items that you might not end up using. Sometimes it could be things like Amazon purchases. It could be what you got from Costco. It could be anything. Just return them. You know what I'll tell you? One of the ways I always recommend to people, especially in my group, because I have an accountability group, so sometimes I tend to refer to them a lot, is they should only buy from stores that accept return. This is a strategy that will help you minimize impulsive shopping. So if you end up buying something and you feel like, oh, maybe I don't really need it, or maybe I didn't eventually use it, it might be time for you to return it. And this is also a good way for you to save on monthly basis. If you have those items that you purchased a couple of weeks ago and you haven't even opened them, or you didn't end up finding the need to use them, you might as well just return it. That way you're getting your money back in your bank. And if at all you eventually find that yes, you want to use it, then you can just buy it again. Always take advantage of stores like Costco, IKEA, Amazon. All of these platforms will allow you to easily return items for free. So if you have anything that you have at home that has been sitting down there that you purchased, it might be time for you to return them. And I know sometimes people will say, hey, what if there is no sale again, or I got it on sale? There will always be another sale. That's the strategy they use in this market. They just want to get you to buy things in a hurry, but there will always be another sale. So return it. Next tip is to buy pre-loved items. So things like gadgets, furnitures, all of that. Instead of buying brand new ones, just buy a pre-loved one. A pre-loved item is buying an item that has been previously used by someone else, but making sure they were used moderately. I think that's why it's called pre-loved, because the previous owner used them moderately. They were not overused or overutilized. So things like some gadgets, for example, I got my current microphone from Facebook Marketplace. It's a Rode mic. I've also gotten some of my gadgets and camera stuff from Facebook Marketplace that saved me hundreds of dollars as well, as opposed to buying a new one. There is nothing wrong with buying a new one, but for a camera or gadgets like this that I know I don't need to use them as often, you might as well just buy a pre-loved one. Make sure that you're checking the specifications to make sure they still work as expected. But ultimately, the goal is to help you save money. So you want to make sure you're comparing it with the actual price of the brand new or original item. If the price doesn't seem as different, then maybe you might just buy a new one. The next tip is to leverage purchasing power parity. If you don't know what that means, it's simply you paying for products or services in a currency lower than your actual currency. So for example, I making money in Canadian dollars and spending in Canadian dollars, but I can pay for some services or some subscription using Naira. So things like maybe your monthly subscription, some bills, some fees, some things that are constant. Some companies usually offer them to countries with lower income power at a lower price. So if you're buying it or you're paying for those services in that currency, you'll be saving significantly more. So even things like buying a flight ticket in Naira as opposed to buying it in Canadian dollars, you would save a whole lot more money. Sometimes, even when I'm traveling and I see some gadgets that I need to use for my content creation, I just compare the prices and see, hey, how much is this going to cost if I were buying it in Canadian dollars as opposed to buying it in this currency of this country that I am right now. Plus, if you're buying it abroad, you might not be paying taxes. If at all you pay taxes at the airport, you can get your taxes back. So these are some things that you can put in mind in order to save more money or take advantage of purchase power parity. There's so much more that I can't get into, but if you have questions, leave them below. So you have a savings goal and you want to save somewhere between $1,000 to $100,000 in a year, but you don't know how to get started. Yes, I've got you. In the description box, you will find a link to download my free savings plan. It has a range of saving money from $1,000 to $100,000 in a year, either on weekly basis, monthly basis, bi-weekly basis. There's different plan in there. The strategy is for you to print that out and save the amount listed there consistently on the saving schedule that you prefer. Put it into an account, preferably a high interest savings account, and as you're saving, you just keep checking off the boxes. This free template has about 15 savings plan, and I do believe that you would be able to find one that would work for you. So go download it, the link is below. Before we come to the end of this video, I also want to talk about $27.40 rule. If you've never heard of it, now is also a time for me to bring it to your understanding. It's simply a strategy to help you save $10,000 in a year. So the idea is, if you're thinking that you want to save $10,000 in a year, it might sound overwhelming that, how do I get $10,000 to save? However, if you start to break it down into monthly goals and daily goals, it becomes more realistic. So $10,000 savings goal would actually be $833 on monthly basis, and if you break that into 30 days, that would end up as $27.40. So if you think about this, it becomes more realistic for you to achieve this savings goal. If you are wondering, how do I get $27 just randomly to save every day? It's from those coffee runs, it's from avoiding all of those impulsive shopping, it's from eating out, it's from keeping those items that you no longer use, it's from having furnitures in your home that are no longer useful, it is from buying brand new items when you can buy pre-loved and save more money. So all of these tips that we have talked about in this video would help you save some money that can go into reaching your savings goal. So that's pretty much the summary of what the $27.40 rule is, and combining that alongside the savings templates that I've provided in the description box, go download it. You'll be able to hit your savings goal quickly and save up to $10,000 in a year or $1,000 monthly. However, I do want to mention that cutting back on costs is usually not a sustainable way to make or save money. You do have to focus and prioritize increasing your income. But not to say cutting costs doesn't work, it's just that it's not sustainable. In order to increase your income, I would love to encourage you to check out this video on 7 ways to level up your finances, and this video on 30 side hustles you can learn in 3 months. Hope you find this video useful. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. If there are other tips you have out there that will help people save hundreds of dollars to thousands monthly, kindly leave them in the comments so that everyone can learn from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.